Well, I'm Eyal Boers. Actually, I see that from my last conversation, I still have the doctor here, so I'm actually Dr. Eyal Boers. That's a change from the ECU when I was in 2009. Well, the doctor side is that I am senior lecturer at a university. I'm head of film and television department, and I'm a lecturer. I'm a researcher. But I have continued making films since ECU. So you might say this: I'm a filmmaker, film lecturer, and film researcher. That's what I am. This was my first major film, my first long film. Before that, I only made short films. This was I think it was a 58-minute documentary, so long. And well, Classmates of Anne Frank is a documentary. I come from Dutch background, Dutch Jewish background, so I have a personal family connection to the story, I suppose. The classmates themselves, at least the classmate of Anne Frank who initiated a reunion between them, has been family friends of mine for more than a century. His grandmother and my great-grandmother sat next to each other, in the 19th century in school. So we were family friends. They trusted me. They knew I speak Dutch. They knew that, I've been studying a lot and researching a lot about the Holocaust in the Netherlands. So I was sort of a perfect fit for that job. I wanted to be a filmmaker. It was an independent project, independent funding. And I started working on it. I flew to the Netherlands with the classmate who initiated the reunion. I started looking for locations for the film and for people to be interviewed and for classmates who would like to be interviewed. And then a few months later, I think in 2007, we flew with a crew. I produced the film as well. So I hired a crew of a cameraman, a sound recordist, a local producer in the Netherlands. We shot the film. I edited in Israel. Came out in 2008. I think the premiere was in Jerusalem, and then I started screening it outside Israel, and that's how I came to the ECU. Many people interested in it, so I traveled with the film in quite a few festivals around the world, not only in Europe, in North America as well. And seeing the reactions of crowds was very exciting. What's very interesting is that the film became a book. In English is called We All Wore Stars. It came out in quite a few languages. So the Classmates of Anne Frank became a book. In some editions, in some languages, it's called Classmates of Anne Frank, and the book was written by the classmate Theo Koster, who initiated the project. And the book is written in the same way the film is presented, with some visuals from the film. So that's a great thing. Not many films become books. What I really like is that it was screened in many high schools around the world. Because I didn't use any harsh archive footage from the Holocaust, it was sort of child-friendly in a way, and people could relate to it. People could relate to it at any age. There was no barrier. There wasn't something too harsh visually, aesthetically in the film. It was really information and feelings like a documentary should be, and that I was trying to make it friendly for children. There are scenes in the film where the classmates, who were then 78 years old, meet classmates in the Netherlands these days who are Jewish and not Jewish, and they're like talking about the situation. So it was sort of it became an educational film. So the impact was not only artistic, it was educational, and that's an achievement. The screening itself was a very nice experience. I even remember that there was an Iranian director who was presenting at the festival, and somehow he found himself coming, at least for a few minutes, into the screening place where my film was screened. I think I remember the there were some press people that were very excited. There's an Israeli and an Irani filmmaker talking, shaking hands and talking about Anna Frank. It was like a weird moment. I don't know if there was anything about it. I remember there was like a bit of press around us at that stage, but I don't remember what happened with that. That's one moment I remember. But the main thing is that you had the perfect pitch workshop back then. I worked for 3 days, I think, on pitching my next project, which I pitched in the way that I worked on in ÉCU. And the project became a documentary, Live or Die in Entebbe, 52 minutes, which I produced and directed, very proud of. It came out in 2012. On a personal level, I have to say that it gave me confidence to go on my next film, which started its development in ÉCU. That's a nice story for you, by the way. And that film also has to do a lot with you know, national myths, this time an Israeli national myth, and how national myths take part in the construction of national memory. So it's sort of, I created sort of a sequel to Anna Frank. And yeah, it started in ÉCU. I developed my pitch there, and I remember that when I sat in front of the commissioning editor from Canada, I said to him, I pitched the project in exactly the same way I worked on in ÉCU, exactly the same way. Then in 2012, the Live or Die in Entebbe came out. You can look that up in IMDb or on Wikipedia. And well, in the years after that, I shifted more into an academic career because I was accepted into a PhD program, writing about the image of the Jew in Dutch cinema, which is related to the Anna Frank film. So I was really concentrating on the PhD, teaching, making a living. But in the meantime, I did direct 2 episodes for the Dutch television station, Omroep Friesland, which also has to do with the Holocaust stories in the Netherlands. And right now I'm in the editing process of a film that is quite related to Anna Frank, the Anna Frank film. It has to do with North Macedonian Jews during the Holocaust, a town called Bitula in North Macedonia. I flew with a few students of mine and we documented an extinct Jewish community in the town of Bitula in North Macedonia, and with a woman, my main character, who's trying to revive that community. So in a way, I'm not far from there, and that's going to be a documentary, probably 52 minutes long. So I'm still there. First of all, especially when it comes to documentaries, but in filmmaking in general, you really need to feel that it is important to you. Don't make films about subjects that you think people want to hear about. Make films about subjects that interest you. If the film interests you, if the subject interests you, if it makes you emotional, then it will make others emotional. Don't try to catch the taste of others. Try to bring yourself into it and be very passionate about it and be very, set your mind to it. I mean, with filmmaking, it's really tough sometimes. You start, you need to finish. It's not like other projects. You cannot write, if you don't turn the script into a film, the script vanishes. It has to become a film. So you need to go with it. You need to be passionate. You need to be very organized and disciplined. It's not, I don't think it's an industry of people who float in the air, like people sometimes like to think. It's very organized people who know what they want, very disciplined, and you need to be very strong and not give up and be ready for obstacles and be consistent. So go to festivals, go to pitch seminars, meet people,